all we've done with this law is we've reaffirmed the purpose of Israel, which is the one and only place in the world that Jews get to call their home. I think Jews are good guests in other countries. I don't think, unless you're a Nazi and you believe, what Hitler wrote in Mein Kampf, Jews are not the worst people to have in your country. But yet, when Jews want their own country to do things differently in a Jewish way, this is the one we've got, the only one we've got. And it's where all our traditions and cultures came from. And I could criticize this law. I really don't think it needs to be changed. I'm not sort of apologizing for it in any way. But if I'm going to be really, I've always used, or over the last few years, I've used the language of indigenous people. I think it's a very important point to say, it's not the individuals who are sitting here today, but it's the entire culture and many of the individuals and all our connections to history that come from here. And so Judaism and Jews are obviously indigenous to Israel, but there are some other groups of people who dwell quite happily in our country today who are also indigenous. Now, the ones who aren't, we'll just clear this out of the way, is basically Islamic culture is not indigenous to Israel. It arrived here by conquest. It is a conquering, invading force. That's Arabic and that's Islam. But we do have populations like the Druze, who I was actually visiting with a Druze chap in the north today, about an hour away from me, in a place called Daliat al-Carmel, sitting on a just beautiful mountain with the Mediterranean Sea on one side, and sort of I could look all the way from the Mediterranean Sea and then inland, just gorgeous place. And I was with a proud Zionist Druze. He's got 2 Israeli flags flying on flagpoles in his beautiful house, and his kids go to the army. He went to the army. He knows the only reason why Druze are safer and better off in Israel, because big Druze populations live in Syria, Lebanon, few in Jordan, a very, very small number in Turkey. But they're safest and most secure here in Israel because Jews run the place. That's just, and he's happy with this law. He's got no problem. In fact, someone was interviewing him, and there'll be an op-ed that he'll co-write in the Jerusalem Post in a few days, I hope. Because, and we've had this huge outpouring of just left-wing dominated, oh, how can we say we're better? Well, I'm sorry, but this is the Jewish state. We exist for Jews. We exist to be the place for Jews. But we are also capable of having minorities live comfortably in this country, which is a trick no one else manages in the Middle East.
That's an excerpt from my weekly full-length show, The Gun Show. On my show, I take on the issues of the day through my Alberta conservative lens, and I talk to the real newsmakers the mainstream media ignores. To get access to my show and all of our other premium content, click the link on the screen to subscribe today.